Running full system diagnostics. Machine status fully operational. System online. All stations are now enabled. Target dog the resistance. Operation overkill.
Hello and welcome to my guide. Today I'm going to showcase my Smite Knight build, or should I say Spin to Smite. This build is kind of a pet project for me for quite some time now. I tried to make this work in the earlier season, the season 0 I think it was, or season 1, whatever. Um, uh, with that said, I have done some changes now, and before I was trying to make it work with Culinary's Claim and lightning damage through devotion. Could not make it work because the build was just too squishy. You died too fast. The damage was kind of okay, but I feel like the changes I've done with making it only fire damage makes the kind of Warpath ability do damage as well, since it's converted to fire when going the Smite path. First and foremost, we're gonna go to the key components of the build, which is the Vortex Pendant. The Vortex Pendant is basically an item that makes you throw axes around you while you're channeling Warpath. The frequency is rated around the increased physical damage stat, which is kind of annoying because we don't want to waste too much damage since all our physical damage is converted to fire, so it's not really worth going into the physical damage aspect that much. But we're just gonna try to put some of it in there. So yeah, Vortex Pendant is the core component, and then we also combo it with Adorned Idols for Sentinel, which has the kind of prefix chance to cast Smite when you're hitting a throwing attack, which is the entire thought process behind the build, which is you're gonna have these three of these, at least three, maybe four if you don't have any like high percentages ones. You're gonna try to have it around like 75%. Um, these these do what they say. Like you cast Smite when you hit a throwing attack. So with the Vortex Pendant, while you're channeling, you're gonna throw out these axes, which is in turn gonna cast Smite on the selected target, or selected target rather than the closest target. And these guys pass through as well, so it's gonna smite everyone in its path. So it's actually gonna deal quite a lot of damage. Um, then we're also gonna have these, which is gonna increase the overall smite damage. Then we also have Riverbend Grasp, which I'm not really confident in, because I think they could actually be replaced by something better, but the stat we're looking for on these are the chance to throw action on a nearby enemy on hit. The problem with this is that it has a cooldown on 1 second. If it didn't have that cooldown, it would have been broken, I guess. Well, since we're gonna keep like hitting plentiful of smites, I would just throw out tons of axes, but yeah, with that cooldown in place, we can't really use it that much. So these are kind of on the edge of not being that useful. I'm not sure if they're gonna be in the final build. We'll see about it. I'm keeping them for now because they're pretty cheap in the MG guild, and yeah, so it's pretty fine. Now we're gonna move on to the Wrong Warp and the Veon's Chariot. The Veon's Chariot is kind of the same as Wrong Warp. They both scale very well with movement speed, so the faster you are, the more damage you're going to deal. And the entire thing with this build is you want to clear dungeons fast, you want to move fast, you don't want to be stationary too much. Um, So in turn, this increases the damage percentage, which is good for us. We're gonna have lots of movement speed, so we're gonna get these with at least one LP, and this is gonna bring you lots of damage. And with wrong warp as well, which increases the spell damage for increased movement speed, it's also gonna make your smites deal a bunch more damage. So yeah, and then we also have Polaris Sacred Light, which is offhand the secondary weapon, um, which is basically going to increase your spell damage based on your strength. So we're going to like roll a bunch of strength in this build, and then you also have the attunement stacking with the melee damage, which is good for you since attunement increases the overall smite damage as well, since this is a paladin ability. And then it's also going to cast Smite on melee hits up to three times per second. So you're going to have to get that on a high roll. I got 36%, which is room for improvement, but I'll take it for now. Yeah, and then we also have the chest piece, which is kind of core component as well. I guess you could have some flexibility with some other pieces, but I think Wings of Argentus is probably the best. And this is going to increase your melee fire damage, which I could have done a lot better with. I went I got such a bad piece. But this is also you take less damage while moving, and you're never gonna stop moving while you're spinning in Warpath. So this is also a great piece. And then we have the Orion's Descent, which is I'm not sure if this is best in case. I think you can have a Exalted belt with just better stats, because the only stat we really want from this is the chance to cast Smite on hit, which is like okay, so I can cast 6 smites per 10 seconds. How useful is that really? So I think I'm gonna change this up later on into a movement speed belt. I can't remember what it's called, but it's an exalted belt. And then the Nihilis, which is the amulet that's very sought after. You're gonna try to get high health percentage, high movement speed, of course. You're gonna try to get 2 to all skills, which is crucial, and they're gonna try to get more armor. Resistances is kind of whatever, since you have the on the relic, you're gonna have the increased resistances while channeling, so that's kind of whatever. Yeah, so try to get the movement speed stat and 2 tall skills, and not that much like negative stats, because that's gonna bring you down. And I'm not set on what helmet I should use yet. I think there's a better one with increased fire damage and endurance ratings. I think that's the better option, but right now I'm rocking this, which is increased movement speed by 8%, and then I'm just stacking some strength and attunement and some health, which is working out for me right now. I'm like pushing 500 corruption. It's working pretty well. And then we have the Orion Sun Seal, which is the ring that's going to provide us with the kind of survivability in burst damages, which are like unaccounted for. So these are gonna save us by consuming whole for charges of symbols of hope, and it's gonna put it on cooldown, but it's gonna save you, prevent you from dying, get you some more wards so you don't die. It's basically a um, saving grace from the game. And then of course we have the Flaming Midnight, which is going to provide us with swiftness, which is going to increase our movement speed, which is in turn going to boost the stats of the Veion's chariot and the wrong warp, which is going to increase our damage output. Now we're going to move on to skills. We're going to look at first and foremost the Warpath. The Warpath is pretty simple. We're going to start off by going down here to make it so you can channel infinitely without costing any mana. The mana is not supposed to go down. That's good. And then after that, we're going to go for the movement. So movement, you want to push here. You're going to take all these 3, and then you're going to go directly here, put 2 points in here, and go directly get all the smite chance, because we want the smites all the time. So yeah, you're going to have Wind of Justice. Then we're going to have Path of Heavens, max this out so you get more spell damage. Very important. And then we're going to go up here, 1 point here, 2 points here. And then we're going to get 5 points here for the increased critical base chance. Very good. All your stuff does more crits. I was thinking about getting the fire penetration with the scepter, but there's no really good scepter for this build, so we'll skip that for now. And then we have the Molten Path, which is gonna basically increase your fire melee damage, which is the entire Warpath since you took this one, Earth Scorcher. and then it's also gonna provide you with armor shred. So yeah, Smite is kind of weird because you get like 22 points, and you have to choose between damage, I guess. So there was more damage here, but I didn't want to lose as much health, so I actually put all 5 points in here. So I think 2 points here, 5 points here, one, and then four here, and then four here, and then I will fill this up before you go do this. Essentially, what blind chance is going to do for us is going to provide that the enemy can't crit, and we're not going to have any crit defense. So this is going to save us from all the crit damage that we're supposed to take. So yeah, blind is very good. And of course, we're going to have the symbol of hope, which is going to provide us with overall stats, but most importantly, damage. You're going to go first. You're going to go 2 points here, 2 points here, 1 point here, 2 points here, 3 points here, 1 point here, and then you're gonna go into damage part. So then you're gonna go 5 points here, 3 points here, and then you're gonna go fill these up, and then with the remaining points you can put them in here. But these two are very important. But first you have to get the additional symbols because you want to try to have the 5 symbols up all the time. And the Holy Aura, which is the class specific for Paladin, I believe. Also, like, this could be improved, I think. I'm not sure though where to put the points and where not to. But we're gonna start off with up here, 1 point here, 2 points here, because this penetration is so OP, it's unbelievable. Then we're gonna go put 2 points here, actually, not here, 2 points here, and then 3 points here, and then three here, because this crit multiplier is crazy good. We just want crit multiplier, because every hit's gonna do crits. And then after that, you're gonna go 3 points here, 1 point here, and then you're gonna go 2 points here, and then you're gonna go back here, put two more points here until it's five, and then you can fill the last points here. And then javelin, I've tried to find a substitute that's better than javelin, but there's nothing really that enhances this build more than javelin. Then javelin is kind of like saving us the trouble against bosses. It helps us fight the bosses because that's where we struggle the most. And what it's gonna do is basically you're gonna throw it on the ground, and it's gonna start smite with the righteous descend. It's gonna smite, and they also have an increased crit chance. But this is just gonna have a stationary damage on the boss. And then you're gonna have this as well, which is the flag can be captured. So wherever the boss moves around in the arena, it's still gonna track the boss. Blessings, which are gonna be the only important ones, are of course Black Sun, which is gonna provide us with crit multi, the Reign of Dragons, which is going to provide us with physical damage. And remember, Vortex Pendant increases the frequency of axe throws with the increased physical damage, so this is going to be great. And then we're going to have the Spirits of Fire, which is going to increase the overall fire damage. Great for us, probably the most important one. And then also, this one is, I'm not sure yet. I think Endurance Threshold or Increased Armor. I think actually Increased Armor if you get a good one, but I only have a 25%er, so right now I'm rocking Endurance Threshold. And then, yeah, this one is not important. I would take in the Ending Storm. I would take the War Decay Threshold because it's the best one out of these ones for us. Mana is whatever, freeze rate whatever, la la la. Yeah. And on passives, you're just gonna go with the standard Strength, get some more vitality in for the resistances, the poison and necrotic. This one is crucial. Damage taken from nearby enemies, just 10% flat damage reduction. This one is also very good with the axe throwing aspect, because you're gonna keep throwing axes whenever you hit an enemy, which is kind of like the Riverbend Grasp, but it's like for free. So we're just gonna take that, and then we also have this, so we can dual wield with the sword on offhand. Very important. This you can put in later. This is not as crucial as these guys. And then we're gonna go directly to Paladin. It's gonna smack dab right in the middle to get more resistances, and then there's the threshold. And then we're gonna have some more conviction. Very good. Gives you all the types of damages you need. Then we're gonna have this. This is very nice. 5 points here is good. Allows you to reach further and more strength towards increased armor. I haven't maxed this. This is supposed to be an 8, but this is what it is right now. 10, 5 here, very good as well. Increases movement speed, crucial, of course. And this is just a buff. And then Void Knight, of course, 5 points here. One of the best passive nodes you can take. And then we're gonna steal 5 more strength from this one. And then you can go back and just put this one in. You're never really gonna directly cast Smite in this build. You're only gonna rely on the Projectile's Throne. So you could honestly just remove this completely. It's whatever. These are kind of important, but this is only for bosses and the elites that are tough to kill. So I'm gonna throw it down, and it's gonna start Smite on its own, and it's gonna throw access. And if you do this in combo with the spin, it's gonna do so many smites. And you're never actually gonna use Symbols of Hope, the button. You're never gonna do that. It's only for the Orion Sun Seal. So you're never actually gonna press E. You can't remove it because it has to be on the hotbar to be able to start summon the sigils. But this one you can press when you're in dire situations or you just want to burst damage. I usually combo it with the javelin, so I do this, and then start spinning. And you get tons of damage numbers. But on its own, the axes are enough to like kill all the small mobs, and then you can just go and slice them up as well. Overall, the build is kind of solid. I'm running 500 corrupted monos right now. I've killed the Harbinger. I've killed all the bosses you can think about. I haven't killed Uber, but I've killed normal Aberoth, of course. And overall, the build is pretty solid. I mean, you have all the resistances you need. You have high movement, like 113% movement speed. Running around, slicing up. The damage output is great. The bosses are the only tough part, but like I said, Javelin helps that with that a lot. So yeah. Thank you for watching my build.